We got a kind of standalone message tonight because we got, for Big Church, for New Hope, as a church as a whole, we are going into 2 weeks or 2 weekends of our missions weekends. We got missionaries coming from the Europe area, all over there, and they come and we get to meet with them and they speak, and it's really powerful. So if New Hope's your church, get to Sundays. Well, actually, next week we have one of those missionaries speaking. His name is Kurt Plagenhoff. Turn to your neighbor and say Plagenhoff. It's going to be awesome. So, and if you have never brought your family to church, they don't go to church, it would be an amazing time to do that. Perfect time. So, last week, can anyone tell me or turn to your neighbor and share, can you remember the Bible verse, the main verse that PZ covered last week? We watched a video about the train. Can anyone remember? It's like the easiest. Turn it to your neighbor and ask him. Say it to your neighbor. It's like the most popular verse in the Bible. What is it? I think I heard it. John 3:16. All right, it'll be up on the screen. Does everyone have your notes? Get your notes. Get your little pencil, golf pencil. Make it happen. All right, John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave. Turn to your neighbor and say gave. His one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. Powerful verse, simple. We kind of skim over this sometimes. We may recite it. This is a powerful, powerful verse. And as hopefully if you were here last week and you saw that video that illustrated God's love for us and that he chose to give up his own Son on behalf of me and behalf of you, even when we didn't deserve it and we don't deserve it. He loved us so much. And I want to focus on this verse again, but kind of part 2. So turn to your neighbor and say part 2. Part 2. I don't have a cool video for you, so you're going to have to stare at my ugly mug all night, okay? Hopefully that's all right. But so part 2 of this, I want to focus on the first part, and as PZ said, that God so loved. Turn to your neighbor and say loved. God so loved us, the world, you, your neighbor, your family. God so loved the world. That's part 1. The second part is that he gave. Turn to your neighbor and say gave. He gave his only Son. And that his expression, his demonstration, the action of love for God and from God was giving. And we're going to talk about that. You may be thinking, if you've been here before, I kind of know where this is going. If you're a visitor, I just want to say thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. You belong here with us. And so this is not a message of like, oh, let's take an offering at the end, but I really want to challenge your heart perspective. I want to challenge your mind perspective, our attitudes, our willingness, and I believe God's going to speak to us. Okay, so if you're ready, say, let's go. Okay? Let's go. So, like I said, part 2, God expressed his love, his great love by giving. And it's not just a command from him, but the great example that we get in our lives to follow him by giving. And if you have made, last week, maybe you for the first time ever made a decision to give your life to Jesus, that's amazing. We're so proud of you. And you're part of our family, and we want to walk alongside you in this journey. For the rest of us, if you are kind of on one side, you're like, man, I just showed up. I just got some pizza, chill. Once again, we're glad that you're here. If you come regularly, this is your home. New Hope Youth is your home. Man, it applies for all of us. Every stage, all of us, okay? And so I believe that illustrative, what God said in expressing love, and Pastor August and myself, as we're going through the end of our WWJD, What Would Jesus Do series on the spiritual disciplines, we talked about evangelism, sharing Jesus to people, and then we talked about loving and serving people. And that's an expression of giving ourselves and our heart, our time, our money, our talents. And if you serve God and you love God and you follow him, you may be thinking like, now that I'm a Christian, or I'm a Christian, so I have to follow all these things, these rules, these commandments. But the thought in the heart should be, man, I want to do all these things. Because I love God, I want to follow him. Because I love God, I want these commandments in my life. Because they're for you. God's commandments, the Bible, the rules in there, the boundaries, the wisdom is not for God. It's for you. It's for us to thrive in life. And He gave us this. We get to follow God in these ways. Matthew 10:8. Matthew 10:8. It says, "You have received much, now give much." Other translations say, freely you have received, freely give. Give as freely as you have received. And another verse, we love others because Christ first loved us. We have to recognize, and if you're new, Jesus gave everything for you. If you're not new, Jesus gave everything for you. And because we have received much, if you've received Him and accepted His free gift, His commandment is, all right, now I got to do something. Now I give. Now it's my turn to give back. He's given me everything. Now I go. 1 John 3:16. It says, we ought to know what real love is because Jesus gave up His life for us. So we also ought to give up our lives for our brothers and sisters. If someone has enough money to live well and sees a brother or sister in need but shows no compassion, how can God's love be in that person? That's tough. Dear children, let's not merely say that we love each other. Let's show the truth by our actions. Turn to your neighbor and say, action. Our actions will show that we belong to the truth. So we will be confident when we stand before God. I want to show. I don't want to just say. It's not just a belief system. It's not just one decision on a Wednesday. But I want to show, man, God has given me everything. Now I can give Him everything in return. And He's worth it. And if giving isn't just something we do as Christians or as following God or as loving people, but it's who we are. It's who we are, and our God that we follow modeled that for Himself. And I want to talk just quickly about, like I said, we're going into Missions Week and have guest missionaries. We do a banquet. We would love to have you at the banquet. How many of you have been to the missions banquet before? Raise your hand. Awesome meal, great speakers. We'd love to have you at that. If you're interested, talk to one of the pastors or your leaders. That is coming around the corner, April 21st. We'd love to have you. And tonight, we're kicking off a Speed the Light push. And so we're going to do a big give. And we do this every year. We're going to do a big give May 17th. Turn to your neighbor and say May 17th. Okay, so you got a handful of weeks. And we're going to be pushing this, raising money for all these things, and I'll explain what that is. And one way that you can do that is there's a Speed the Light run coming up, okay? A Speed the Light run. We've kind of promoted a little bit. There's some cards out in the lobby if you want more info. This is an amazing way to get plugged in. It is May 13th. It is a Saturday morning. Where's Becky? Can you stand just if they have any questions or anything? I'm blinded by the light. Thank you, Becky. Becky's kind of running in charge of that. And so we would love to have you participate. That's an easy way. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I want to just break down what is Speed the Light, what is missions giving. Some of you may know, some of you may not know. Please don't check out because this has a point. This has a point. I just am setting this up. Speed the Light represents multiple different things, but really if you break it down, it's just the way that we give through. Speed the Light is what we give through. And Speed the Light gives to different organizations and nonprofits and different people and ministries, okay? Here's some examples of what New Hope, what you guys, New Hope Youth, have done through the years, through Speed the Light. Pretty amazing. Life-changing stuff, okay? Free International focuses on human trafficking, sex trafficking in the United States. It's a big deal. We're third in the world for that problem. Free International focuses on it. We should have a picture. Do we have a picture of that trailer? Free International. You guys bought one of these. This is a mobile unit that shows up. It's actually, one of them is parked. One of them's parked on the Vegas Strip. And this thing is a mobile hub. I mean, it has everything in it for setting someone free, restoration, protection, provision, all of it. It's a pretty amazing thing. We got to walk through it. You guys paid for one of those. Venture, do we have a picture of the next one? Venture also focuses across the world, mainly a lot of like in India. They focus on prevention of people being kidnapped and sold or forced into all different kinds of slavery. It happens today. Okay, you guys have given to help build a school and a house for kids that have been orphaned, or they just, like, their parents can't even pay to feed them, or they've been recovered from slavery. You guys help pay for that. You guys help pay for different things of prevention and the post-counseling, all this stuff. Pretty amazing. World Serve is one that we've been doing. You may recognize it. Water wells in Tanzania, in Kenya. I can't even list the number of water wells, you guys, and the number of thousands and thousands of people that you guys have impacted. It's amazing to give clean water to. Clean water, okay? Clean water. Convoy of Hope is another one that we bought a semi and a semi-trailer, and they go around at disaster relief, and they go and they just help people out if there's been a tornado or a natural disaster. You guys have paid for that in impacting people's lives with relief and all this stuff. We've done Meals from the Heartland, providing food products. We've done OCC is not the biker gang, but it's Operation Christmas Child. It's giving a Christmas gift to children all over the globe that wouldn't get one. And you guys have done so much to impact so many people's lives, and you have changed lives and changed their lives on earth. You have changed their lives on earth, and it's been amazing to see and been amazing to be a part of and seeing how God used that. And what you do and how you give changes somebody. It changes their life on earth. It changes how they live or changes the situation that they're in. And we get to be a part of that. We get to be a part of God changing lives right in the middle of their physical needs. Right there. And that alone, I shouldn't have to say another word. That alone should be motivation to say, I'll do whatever it takes. That alone, changing somebody's life, that's worth it enough. But I want to push it further because there's a greater thing that we get to do. And God wants to do something even greater through your giving, through your sacrifice, through your time, through your talent, whatever, to provide. Let me illustrate this. All right, I'm going to break down. Do you guys really, I don't know if you really realize how big of a number 1 billion is. Okay, this blew my mind. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to get an answer from John Appleby and, let's see, Jersey. Okay, you guys are going to answer for me. How many, nobody else answer this, how many days is there, 1 million seconds creates how many days? What do you think? Who said that? Marco, you're wrong. How many days? What? 30? 5 days? No, it's somewhere in between. Marco, you were close. 11 days. Here, I'm going to give you $1. Oops. There's your $1. Can you give this to Jers? No, you didn't get it right. 11 days is 1 million seconds, okay? This is crazy. I'm going to blow your mind here. And anyone can answer this. So 1 million seconds is 11 days. How many days do you think 1 billion, with a B, seconds is? I heard it, actually. Selah. I heard it from Selah. Did you say 31? You get $1. Okay. Did you hear that? 1 million seconds is 11 days. 1 billion seconds, 31 years. That's a huge jump. Okay, let me illustrate this even further. This is crazy, okay? Imagine somebody gave you $1 million, which would be awesome, and they said, spend $1,000 every day. You have to spend $1,000 every day, and then come back when you're broke. Come back when you're all done, when you run out of money. You would return in 3 years. If you spent $1,000 a day, 3 years would use up $1 million. Do you know how many days it would take to spend $1,000 a day to equal 1 billion? Do you know? This is going to blow your mind. 2,700 years. 3 years versus 2,700 years. That's the difference just between 1 million and 1 billion. This is a big number. It's hard to comprehend. I have some slides, okay? If you were going to put, and I gave my dollar bills away, I just got a 10 up here. No, it's not for you. If you were going to take a dollar bill, and lay it down, and then lay another one right next to it, and so on, and kind of make a line. You know what I'm talking about? You tracking? If you were to do that, one bill measures about 6.14 inches, so about my hand, okay? Adult human hand, okay? The length of 100 of these, laying out, is 51 feet, semi-truck trailer. Okay, 100 bills, $1 bills. 1 million $1 bills laying end to end. Do you know where we could go? Yes, you could, absolutely. From here to the UNI Dome. Or Nebraska, absolutely. One, all the way to the UNI Dome or all the way to Nebraska, but we don't care about Nebraska. Sorry. Go Gophers. Just kidding. Okay, so from here to the UNI Dome is 1 million. Do you know how far $1 billion bills laid out would be? I heard Africa, Australia, around the earth. I'll tell you. It would go around the earth 4 times. That's the difference between 1 million and 1 billion. Here to you and I, or 4 times around the whole earth. Okay, let me do it further. If you were to stack these bills, them on top of each other, one bill is about the girth of a human hair. Girth is a weird word, I understand that. Thickness, that's the word, thank you. If you were to stack 100 of them, 100 $1 bills, 0.43 inches, it'd be a human tooth. About that much, okay? If you were to stack, this is crazy, if you were to stack 1 million $1 bills, it would be 358 feet. Pretty big, okay? That's the height about of a 30 to 35 story building. That's 100 feet taller than the Capitol building in Des Moines. Okay, 100 feet taller than that. If you stacked 1 billion $1 bills, this is crazy. It would go, so it's almost 400 feet high. It would go about 67 miles, which touches the edge of the Earth's atmosphere into space if you were to stack 1 billion versus 400 feet. The difference is astronomical. 1 billion of anything, 1 billion stars, 1 billion seconds, 1 billion people is hard to comprehend how much it is, okay? Hard to comprehend. Here, let me illustrate this further. I do have a $10 bill. I'm not giving this away, so don't ask. No. Okay, listen to this. Let's just say I, ya boy, had $1 billion. Yeah, I do. I work at a church. I had $1 billion, okay? If I came up to you, Krista, and I said, I have $1 billion. I have $1 billion, and I want to give it away. I want to give it all away, $1 billion. If you would just give me $10, I will give that billion away to somebody that you choose. All you have to give me is $10. Would you do it? 1 billion. Think of the number that I just illustrated. That number. If I asked you, would you sacrifice $10? A Bebop's meal. Would you sacrifice it so somebody else could have $1 billion? If you say no to that, you silly, and you need slapped. I think we would all say, well, that's an amazing investment. For somebody else, I'll do that multiple times. That people could have $1 billion? That'd be, why wouldn't I? That would change everything, not just for somebody's lifetime, but for lifetimes. Lifetimes. Nobody would deny that. At least you shouldn't. A $10 trade for $1 billion? Every day. Not a scam. Here's the thing. That illustration of $10 and somebody gets $1 billion is a insignificant fraction of what you are doing when you give to somebody, and it changes not just their life like we talked about, but it changes their afterlife. It's not even a good comparison. And here's why. Let me illustrate this. It's not even a good comparison. Did you know, let's just go to math. I hate math, but we're going to go to it. If you took 1 billion and you divided it by infinite or eternity, what would you get, math people? 0. Shh. Did you hear me? Shh. If you took 1 billion and divided it by infinite, it is 0. 1 billion that we just talked about, that massive number that I can't even comprehend. If you took 1 billion days and divided by infinite, it's 0. And what God wants to do through your giving, through your sacrifice, through your time, through your effort, through your talent, you get to be a part in. If I just give a little bit, I'm investing in somebody's eternity. I'm investing in somebody's forever. Forever. If I just give a little bit, that's like giving a drop of water and somebody gets the ocean. That's like giving a grain of sand and somebody gets the sand all across the globe. That's like if I give a leaf, somebody gets every tree in the world. You can't even comprehend it. And I want to illustrate this for you guys tonight because you need to just weigh the weight of that. That God is inviting you, yes, you student, for somebody in your neighborhood, at your school, and if you would just join in God's plan to give, not just money, not just time, but give yourself to be used by God, you are changing somebody's forever. Forever. If it wasn't a motivation enough to change somebody's life, hopefully it would be motivation for you to change somebody's forever. Forever. The Bible talks about how our lives are just a vapor. They're so short, they're here and they're gone, but eternity is forever. How amazing that we get to be a part of impacting somebody's forever. And in your notes, God wants to use you today to impact, to change somebody's forever. He wants to use your now to change somebody's eternity. He wants to use your little to change somebody's infinite. That little sacrifice, that little work, the little effort, the little generosity. It may seem big to you, but I promise you, it's worth it. It is a worthy investment when you are talking about somebody's forever. Forever. The next point in your notes is, you may have heard it said, everybody lives forever somewhere. Everybody in this room, everybody at your school, everybody in your family, everybody on your sports team or your show choir crew, everybody in the world lives forever somewhere. Somewhere. Heaven and hell are very real. They're very real places. And we all will spend eternity, forever, somewhere. Either one of those, we will spend either in hell or in heaven. They are real places. And you might say, well, that's pretty cruel. God didn't create hell for you. He did not. He created heaven for you, but he didn't create hell for you. His heart and his goal is that everybody would come to know him and get to spend eternity with him. He created hell for Satan and his demons. Just like we talked about last week, yes, there is a debt that got racked up. There is something that needs to be paid so that we could reach heaven, but it is unreachable. It's a debt that nobody could pay except for God himself. And so Jesus paid for you and he paid for me. And if we just accept him and receive him, you get eternity with him. Here's the thing about hell. Hell is a place that you can pay for your own sins. Think about it. If I choose to not have my sins be paid, I can choose to say, no, Jesus, I know you died, but it's not for me. It's religion stuff, I don't know. Church people, I don't know. I can choose to say, I'm going to pay for it myself because I'm going somewhere forever. See what I'm saying? And I want to accept the payment Jesus made for me. And I can gain that just by receiving that. We talked about this. But if I'm in the room, and you can have that today, but if I'm in the room and if I've already accepted that free gift, you have just received $1 billion. You have received something so big you can't even comprehend it. So somebody needs to hear in this place as I was praying that you are struggling and you feel like emotionally it's the end of your rope. Let me tell you, there's eternity. This is so short. Keep trusting in God. Give it to him. But you, if you have received, you should freely give. So me saying, God, thank you that I get to spend forever with you, it should motivate me to say, I need to tell everybody. I need to do whatever I can to give, to go, to do, to say. I need to do whatever I can because everybody lives forever somewhere. And there's a free gift waiting for them. There's an eternity waiting for them. And I can just give a little bit and God partners with me. Worship team, would you come? If you can focus in your life, like things are hard and like you giving up your money is hard or giving time or effort or focus, whatever. Like I said, this is not just like a give your money message. This is so much more. It's a give your life thing. That God wants to use you. But if you could focus on the fact that he wants to change somebody's eternity. We sing a song that's called Available. It's one of my favorite lines. It says, for the one who gave me life, nothing is a sacrifice. Nothing is truly a sacrifice for me because of what Jesus did. I can never repay that. But also, it's not a sacrifice for me because I know eternity could be shifted for somebody. And I will give everything I can. I will do everything I can. I will talk to whoever. I will love whoever. I will forgive whoever. I will sacrifice for whoever because I know it could change their forever. It's like giving $10 for $1 billion. I need to do it. Would you stand all across this room? There's 2 responses that I want to do quick. The first one is if you're in the room and you're like, man, I haven't accepted that free gift, that payment, and I don't know if where I'm gonna end up for eternity. Tonight is your night to say yes, Jesus, and give my life to him because he gave it all to you and me. And I want you to, if that's you, in a minute, I'm gonna have you come down front as a sign to say, Jesus, I'm yours. I want to live with you forever. So I give my life here on earth so that I could be with you for eternity. That's the first one. The second one is if you're in the room and you've already accepted that free gift, you've got that $1 billion coming in your way. And you would say, man, I want to do more. I want to give more. I want to say more. I just need that recommitment. I need that repassion of God to say, I'm going to do it for somebody's eternity. If that's you tonight, I'm going to call you down in a minute too. as a physical statement and of an inward feeling and an inward decision to say, God, I'm yours. Just like we sung this song, send me isn't like this, God, I'm going to go be a missionary. It might be for you, but it really is a declaration to say, my life is yours, God. Whatever you want. Send me to that classmate. Send me to that coach. Send me to my job so I can raise some money and give it. Send me to fill in the blank. So bow your heads for a second. Like I said, if you're responding to Jesus for the first time, or you want to commit and say, God, I'm yours. I'm going to count to 3, and then you're going to come down. We're just going to sing this song.